What if I told you one of the most important military branches in the world was born from a handful of fragile airplanes made of wood and canvas? Today, the United States Air Force controls the skies with cutting edge aircraft, satellites, and technology. But its story began with a dream that started right here in America and changed warfare forever. Stay tuned on this episode of Echoes of Freedom to find out. You hear that? That's the Echoes of Freedom. What's up, historians? Today we're standing here on the grounds of the Goodfellow Air Force Base in front of a what?
CA-47A.
A CA-47A?
Yes.
A CA-47A. Got some help actually getting reunited with my brother for first time since Christmas. So excited to be here hanging out with him on base this week. And we're going to talk about some Air Force history. Matter of fact, you know what? Did a quick cameo. There's the man himself. So having a good week. And he's finally getting featured on Echoes of Freedom. But a CA-47A aircraft here behind me. And this is just an amazing piece of history that we're going to talk about. And you're going to see some others as we progress through this week's episode. And what better place to tell the story of the United States Air Force than right here on the base? And this is one of the most technologically advanced fighting forces in human history. So, believe it or not, the Air Force didn't always exist. You say, what? I thought it's always been. No. Think back 1776. We didn't have aircraft during the Revolution. We didn't have aircraft during the Civil War. Aircraft's not going to be introduced in warfare until World War I. That's when we're going to get the first introduction of the United States Air Force and air forces around the globe. When the Wright brothers made their successful flight at Kill Devil Hills in 1903, shameless plug here, but go back a couple episodes. I think it's like episode 2 of this season. Go check out our coverage of Kill Devil Hills at OBX. It's an amazing adventure, an amazing story there. So check that out after you finish this episode. But when the Wright brothers made their first successful flight at Kill Devil Hills in 1903, few people imagined that airplanes would someday be part of one of the most important parts of military tools in the world. The U.S. Army took notice and began experimenting with aircraft just a few years later. By World War I, airplanes were being used for reconnaissance, artillery spotting, and eventually aerial combat. Eddie Rickenbacker and other pioneering pilots helped prove that control of the skies could influence the outcome of battles. Now, you also have to know, the Air Force still did not exist until after World War II. During World War II, planes were either Army planes or Navy planes. So you either enlisted in the Army as a pilot or in the Navy as a pilot. And if you're in the Navy, you launched off aircraft carriers. Army, you launched from the airfields. After World War II, we're going to introduce the dedicated Air Force. If World War I introduced military aviation, World War II transformed it. The Air Forces grew into massive fighting force with thousands of aircraft operating across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. Bombers like the B-17 Flying Fortress, which if I do have to make a comment here, it's one of my favorite airplanes of all times, along with probably the P-51 Mustang and the F-22. Those are some pretty sexy aircraft. What's up?
F-22 over there and a B-17 skeleton out on the runway.
Hold that thought. We're going to be right back with more Echoes of Freedom. We're going to go find the B-17.
Can't access it.
What do you mean we can't access it?
Access the runway. They use it for fire drills. We're not allowed to access the runway, otherwise we'd go see it. Sorry.
getting rage baited right here in Echoes of Freedom. It's in a restricted area that we can't get to, but that's okay. We are going to go see the F-22 in just a moment as we wrap up the video, so stay tuned for that. But the B-17 and the B-29 Superfortress carried the war deep into enemy territory. Fighter aircraft protected Allied bombers and established air superiority over Europe. And for the first time in history, control of the air became just as important as control of land and sea. During the Cold War, the Air Force became a key part of America's defense strategy. We're standing here in front of what I thought was an F-22. Turns out it's a MiG-29. At least that's what the QR code here tells me. A MiG-29 Fulcrum. Looks just like the F-22, but it's still a beautiful aircraft. Strategic bombers stood ready around the clock. International ballistic missiles became part of the nation's nuclear deterrent. Meanwhile, advancements in radar, satellites, and jet technology transformed warfare. Aircraft like the F-4 Phantom, the F-15 Eagle, and the F-16 Fighting Falcon helped establish American air dominance. So today's Air Force is about far more than airplanes. As you can see, we're standing here in front of what modern aircraft looks like. This is a UAV Predator drone aircraft used by our current U.S. Air Force. It is, well, just showcases what or how far we have come in technology. The modern Air Force operates satellites, intelligence systems, cyber capabilities, reconnaissance platforms, and unmanned aircraft, much like this one I just talked about here behind me. The modern aircraft, such as the F-22 Raptor, the F-35 Lightning II, and the B-2 Spirit, represent some of the most advanced technology so far that's been developed. The Air Force's mission has expanded from simply flying aircraft to controlling entire dominions of modern warfare. So that's why places like Goodfellow Air Force Base matter. For decades, Goodfellow has served as one of the nation's premier training centers, particularly in intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and firefighting training. The men and women who train here may not all become pilots, but they become part of the team that keeps the Air Force operating around the globe. Because modern military success depends on not just those who fly the aircraft, but on the thousands who support the mission. The Air Force motto is aim high, fly, fight, win. It's a simple phrase, but it captures more than military capability. It captures innovation, dedication, and the willingness to push beyond what was once thought possible. So, standing here today, it's incredible to think about how far aviation has come. From the Wright brothers' 12-second flight on the sands of North Carolina to standing here in Texas in front of a stealth aircraft that crosses oceans. Satellites orbiting high above the Earth. The story of the Air Force is really a story of American innovation. A story of people who looked at the sky and refused to believe that it was a limit. So, all right, historians, remember next time you see a jet streak across the sky, or you happen to see the U.S. Air Force doing a training run over your hometown, remember, you're witnessing more than technology. You're witnessing over a century of courage, innovation, and service. Before we leave, if you want to learn more about this adventure or any other adventure we've explored, head over to our website, www.echoesofreedom.us. There you can access our interactive map and see all the locations we've visited, as well as learn more about each location and the history behind it. There's also a donate tab if you'd like to donate to us to put fuel in our vehicles or help us with archaeological finds and digs as we work to preserve historic sites back to their original state and recover relics that have been lost along the way to tell the story of the history that happened at these sites. And lastly, if you have a location you would like us to visit, there's a tab there also on the website that you can request a location for us to visit. We'll be happy to come out, take a visit, and cover that in an episode, tell you why your site is important, and maybe your submission will be in the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, that's all we got here in Texas. More to come on this Texas adventure, and we will see you all on the next adventure.